fact that they took the time to interview me, and I'm sure other realtors before they made their decision. And I think that was excellent on that part, because you'd be surprised how many people don't. So welcome. What I'm supposed to say, our usual intro, kitchen combos, Daniel, Frankson, all of that good stuff. At some point, my wife gonna tell you like, share, subscribe. But respect to the now 7 of you that are gonna tune in and watch this video. It's greatly appreciated. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with Raymond and Carmen, 2 young folks that were first-time buyers when we connected. And I think what I would like to place the emphasis on the most with them during our process is the fact that they took the time to interview me, and I'm sure other realtors before they made their decision. And I think that was excellent on that part, because you'd be surprised how many people don't. So let me not talk it out. During our process, we had a couple phone conversations and then a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
And you guys had a list of questions.
Oh yeah.
Walk me through that process.
So with anything like on a job, so they're gonna interview feel like you a fit for them, and make sure we deal with somebody that have experience. So that's one thing we wanted to do with our realtor. So we wanted somebody not only have the knowledge, seeing how many years they've been in the market, and also if they work with a lot of first-time buyers. So we want to also work with somebody that we felt comfortable with. And also, once we get the house, don't disappear, but also it's still, reach out to us and making sure we got everything in order like you did with the homestead, making sure we had that in time, and just asking us everything okay. So that's just important.
Then that's good, but one thing I want to point out, Ray just said you wanted someone that doesn't disappear after the transaction. But I recently found out after the transaction, they sent all my email to spam. So I don't know what this disappear thing they talking about.
That's the email that didn't want you a part of our life. We didn't want you. Look, we had questions for you.
Exactly.
I'm just joking. But it definitely, and I don't say this in a negative way, but when we had our Zoom meeting, it definitely was like a job interview. And again, you guys had specific questions laid out, and I gave the answer. And I think we even joked at one point, like, I'm feeling the pressure. This interview. Let me know, did I get the job or did I not get the job? But I know you gave some reasons why it was important to you. Carmen, do you have anything to add to why that was important for you, or just in general, why that would have been a necessary thing for you guys to go through?
Well, I trusted Raymond's process. He is all things YouTube, and I'm all things like research and reading. So that combination together kind of helps us out. But I just think that process was good because you want a relationship. And I think that was the foundation of trying to find the perfect realtor for us, is to have a relationship with them as well, and just make sure they know, not trying to make a sale. That they're genuinely trying to help us find our perfect home, especially our first home.
Yeah, and that's key, because I've had the pleasure to assist a number of folks since I've been in the business, but I've also been on the other side of the table. I've been a first-time buyer that didn't really understand what the importance of a realtor was. This is me at 22, fresh out of college. Just got my green card. I say fresh, I mean fresh, right? And the realtor that I had, I think I found her online, didn't understand that I didn't have to pay her the commission because I was broke too. But I've been on it on that side. I've been a seller with no experience or knowledge of real estate, and I can definitely say when I sold that particular home, I felt I was advised incorrectly. Because if it were me giving the advice, I would have still had that home, and I would have been able to sell it last year and walk about 300 grand. But we're not going to speak on that, right? Anytime I see you out in the street, you owe me money. That's a serious. Anytime I see you in the street, so that makes a lot of sense, right? But outside of just the questions that you guys had, which were all very good questions, and I think helped lead you to where you wanted to be, you mentioned research. And so I gathered as well that you had done your due diligence and research on me before we even spoke. So what was that process like?
Like everybody, I think we had like 4 people we interviewed. So we went to your LinkedIn, like your Instagram. I think we had even some stuff on YouTube. So we did all that research.
And we noticed that he was on HGTV.
Exactly.
So of course we watch House Hunters.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yep. And then I have a coworker that James. So he recommended, highly recommended too. So I already felt from his recommendation, I felt comfortable with you. But and also how you answered the question was, really good, and we felt comfortable going forward in the process.
And I think that's a good thing, because this is something that I've, you talk about research, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. These are all things that are outside my scope of interest, from a personal level, from a business interest. I feel like I know what my strengths are. Those aren't my strengths. So I have to give credit to my wife for, handling and putting all of those things in place, making me do things like record these videos, because the information is good for people to see. Because oftentimes people may be reluctant to speak to me at first, or speak to anybody at first, until they have a sense of what it is. So you definitely say that part of the process was helpful.
Very.
All right, let me just ask you a question in relation to that. Is there anything that you guys saw during your research process, or any questions or any answers to questions that you asked, that turned you off from a particular realtor?
I won't say off. Some people was, I guess, busy to take us on.
Yeah. One didn't even interview because they said they weren't taking any clients.
Yes.
And then
That's a big time one.
yeah, so one didn't even interview. One they did interview, but you just could tell like he didn't have the time.
Yeah.
So that was a problem for us, because you have to make time. And another thing that we focused on were people who had multiple jobs, and this wasn't their sole job. So that was a major deciding factor for us, because we don't want you to do this as a side job. We're trying to find a house. This needs to be your primary focus. So that was a major.
That's an excellent point, because there's often a debate even within the industry. Is this something that you need to do full time, or can you be successful as a realtor part time? I have my own personal feelings on it, but that's interesting to hear your guys' perspective. And I get it. If somebody has to be to work until 5 o'clock, and you need to go see you're available at 12, then there's a conflict there. It doesn't work. Or if they're running out on their lunch break to show you a home, and you still kind of looking around and say, yo, time to wrap up. I gotta get back.
Exactly.
I can see where that could be problematic.
And you're trying to close on your house, and you need the contract drafted. We don't have time 8 o'clock for you to draft it. Like, there's 3 other offers on the table. So
things need to move at a consistent pace. So that's good insight to know. I know that was from your personal experience what you guys went through, but is there anything else that you can think of off the top of your head that would say, okay, this realtor wouldn't be a good fit for us? So them having a job, we get that. Them not having time, that would be a big one. Anything else that you guys would say?
We just kind of went with our vibes, really. Did we vibe with that person? You feel like we called you that early in the morning or late at night, you was able to cancel it. So we got that feeling that you was going to be available for us, and also flexible. So that's the more important thing as well. Okay. And also we had the experience. And we had one guy was kind of young. We found him on Twitter. He was good, but we just wanted somebody kind of seasoned in this industry.
Which makes sense.
No, I was just gonna say, even with that particular realtor, like when we met him, he was late, and then he was on the phone, and then it was short. It was so that deterred us a lot.
I can understand. And I laugh because when you mention late, one thing that my wife can tell you is my biggest pet peeve is being late. So
punctuality.
We were here 40 minutes ago. Just had to find somewhere to duck off because you don't know how traffic is gonna be. And you know what I mean? Instead of me having to say, hey, running late because of traffic, now I'm here. We'll just sit off in the cut somewhere and just chill until the time is approved. So that's why I laugh, because I don't do the late thing.
Yeah.
Can't stand it. No, but that's good insight. And again, I think you guys really and truly, more so than I'd say 99% of folks that I've had the opportunity to work with, really put the that into practice well. Interviewing and researching your realtor to know that the person that you're going to deal with is the right fit. You're buying a home, you're not buying a pair of shoes or even a bag that if you don't like it, it sucks. I spent the money on it, but it is what it is. And for us, when we were going through the process, one of the things that we talked about was we know that you're buying, but we have to look at it from a seller's eye as well, because the likelihood is one day you guys are going to want to sell. Right. And so building that long-term relationship has been key. And I'm very glad and happy again for the opportunity to work with you guys in that regard, because I know you had a lot going on during the time. You were first-time buyers, you had school, and there was also something else you guys were doing at the time. I can't say
planning a wedding.
That's what it was. You're planning a wedding.
Yes.
How did you guys juggle all of that? So school, work, buying a home, and planning a wedding,
and work,
and also work, school, planning a wedding, and buying a home in a crazy market.
Yeah.
Because as you mentioned, every house had multiple offers, right? Every single one.
Yes.
So what was that entire process like?
We pray every step of the way, every process before we reach out to you, start interviewing different realtors. We pray before we start getting the loan process. We pray before we went to each house. We prayed. So keeping God first was the more important thing that it kind of helped us. Like He guided us and through this process. So we didn't know a lot of stuff. We didn't know. We was nervous about giving so much money up front, about the escrow and all this stuff. So he was like, man, that's a lot of money to be going out our bank account getting wired, you know.
I understand.
Yes.
So as a man that doesn't like to spend money.
Yes. Even the wiring process, I'm like, did we get this information right? I looked at it like 100 times before I transferred the money. But I think just being organized too, knowing what tasks I have to do each day and laying that out as far as work and then school, and maybe I'm doing some schoolwork while I'm at work on my lunch break, and also looking at houses at night while I'm in the bed. So it was just I think constant planning and organizational skills in my
which I think you guys did a great job of. And it's funny you mentioned it, because I remember there were times when we'd go and see property. It would be either me and one of you if we all couldn't go, and then Carmen. I remember one time we were supposed to go look at homes, but it was a short window of time because I think he had work and then school. So it's like, yo, if we can't get in right at this time, it can't work. And so being able to, as you guys mentioned before, having someone that's available, communicates, answers the phone, so on and so forth, and can be flexible, whether it's during the week or on the weekend, it was probably important for you as well. So no man, that's good. And I take it that finishing school went well. You still have your job even though you're doing work on the thing, and the wedding was flawless.
The
wedding was flawless.
All worked out well.
Yeah man, you look lovely in your wedding dress. You complimented this guy, man. This guy tried his best to keep up.
I know.
We have to give you the credit for it.
Oh yeah, she picked out the suit and everything. So
man, that she should.
She had me all GQ.
Yeah, cause otherwise you'd have probably went there like this. We couldn't have that. Man. So man. So again, one other thing I want to kind of touch on with you guys. It wasn't a major thing, but I want to get you guys' thoughts on it, right? So in our agreement with the seller, when we had the inspection done, there was something that came up, and we kind of wanted to get it addressed. There was a misunderstanding, or I don't want to use the phrase "a ball was dropped," but essentially there was a satellite dish that was on the roof, and it was, of course, bolted into the roof. And what the inspector said was, "I don't see any issues right now, but naturally at some point it's going to allow water to start seeping through into the roof." When we came to do the final walk, dish was still up there. In my communications, we're going to figure it out. We didn't think it was anything worthwhile preventing us from going to closing, especially during the market that we were in. So we closed, but the dish was still there.
Yeah.
So how did you guys, was that something that you guys had a lot of stress about? Was that something that, once we figured out a way forward, it was cool? What was your overall thoughts with that?
I think just the year we had, any little thing was a stressor, really. So that's one thing we wanted to get out the way because we have to worry about it in the future. And the plans we want to have for this house, that's one thing we wanted to know. Knowing that it could be a potential problem in the future, just go ahead and nip in the bud before we started the journey. So.
And I think just having Daniel as our realtor, and he was in the mix talking to the other realtor, the seller's realtor, and their communication. And then I think he stepped in as our realtor to help and brought someone out here to take it off and to make sure that we didn't have any issues. And I think that was just the foundation. One of the reasons we picked Daniel as a realtor. So.
Well, and I appreciate that, but for me, the way I look at it, at that point, it doesn't matter who's at fault. It's something that you guys expected to get done and it wasn't done. So let's go ahead and just get it done, right? You guys shouldn't have to deal with the brunt of that. And so let's take care of it, let's get it done. On a separate note, you also owe me money too, Realtor, because you owe me the money and I want the money. So you and the Realtor that sold my house when I shouldn't have sold it, you owe me money. So that's about $300,267 I need cash before the end of the week.
Exactly.
Let me get that professional.
The other good thing about Daniel is we never felt pressured to buy anything. So that was another thing. Like, we didn't want to feel like a realtor was pressuring us and like, okay, you need to just buy just to buy. Daniel was always let us think about it, and even when we were down to 2 houses, he was like, y'all pick, y'all decide. And then once we decided on this house, he was like, y'all made the right decision. So we appreciate that part.
Outside of that, anything else you guys think would be helpful information for first-time buyers out there that may be afraid of the home buying process, or they don't know where to start? Any insight that you can give from your experience that you'd like to share?
Do your research. That is so important. It's just to do your research. Even if you don't know where to start, Google. What are the steps in purchasing my first home or my home, whatever the case may be. I think that was number one.
Yeah. Also trusting the people you have around. We use our parents to go look at house for us, asking for advice from different people that have been in the process before. So just getting all the information on top of research, making sure you're comfortable for each step. So that was a big thing too.
Good stuff. Anytime you're going to buy a home, you need to be thinking about, can I sell this home? And oftentimes when I say that during the home buying process, a lot of people get confused. But I was telling someone yesterday, if you are going to go look at a house that's been on the market in this current time for 175 days, there's a reason why nobody else wants it, despite the fact that there are no houses on the market. So imagine when there's 1 million houses on the market and you want to sell it, like, no one's going to buy that. So you have to know that before you buy it, otherwise you put yourself in problems.
Right. And then the other house was in Marietta, and I think the other deciding factor was they didn't have a HOA. So we were like, do we want a purple house next to us, or do we want some bylaws and guidelines for the neighborhood? So that
cars
was
parking in the yard.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny because a lot of people, they say that they hate HOAs, and I used to be one of them when I first moved out here. But I've come to appreciate, if you have a good HOA, it's for the betterment of your home's value. Might be disappointing I can't put up neon green curtains, but that's I'm cool with that if it means that my value is gonna be stable in the home. So Mr. and Mrs. Mr. and Mrs. the newlyweds, the new homeowners, appreciate you guys as always for your time. I said this 5 minutes ago, but I have to repeat it again. If you need me, don't hesitate to reach out. I likely won't answer, and your emails now go to my spam, but such is life. If you guys enjoy this content, would like to find out more, or if you have any questions, I think you're supposed to like, share, and subscribe, or something about a bell. Click the bell. That's good, Intisar. Don't edit it. No, man. We keep it, man. We keep it. We keep that. Also, if you'd like to follow these lovely individuals here, you can find them at
Ray B 1990 on Instagram.
And Karma CARMA_X9.
You know, I don't follow them on Instagram because I post a whole bunch of nonsense. No, I'm joking. I don't ever post anything. But, yeah, man. Until next time.
Go ahead. Work or play?
Play.
Play on the beach.
You like the beach like that?
I love the beach.
That's
Listen,
what-
I'm tan
That's
from.
what you're talking about, man.
Yeah.
I can't stand
Yeah.
the beach. I hate the
Stay
beach.
for hours.
For real?
Yeah.
Like 8-hour days.
No, we could go Miami and don't touch the beach and be perfectly happy.
Love or friendship?
Love.
Love.
Money or happiness?
A little bit of both.
But yeah.
Doesn't one equal the other? Aren't you happy when you have money?
Yeah.
Don't you need money to be happy?
Salty or sweet?
Both.
Both?
I'm sweet. Sweet and savory.
Do you watch shows one episode at a time or binge whole seasons?
Binge.
That's the only way to
That's the
go.
only way.
You know me already. The show watch me. I started to fall asleep.
Would you rather find your dream job or win the lottery?
Win the lottery.
Nobody wants to work.
Yeah,
No.
no.
Expensive presents or homemade presents?
Expensive. Keep it real.
Let's be honest. Do you kill bugs you find inside or take them outside?
Kill them.
Kill them. Make sure they are dead.
If they're in my house,
Yeah.
they want trouble. They want beef.
They want to be dead.
If they were outside,
That's
that
you.
you know what I mean. But you came in my house, so you want beef.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to go.
You have to go.
Would you rather travel to the past or to the future?
The future.
Future.
For real?
Yes.
I mean, what's in the past?
Nah, if you go to the past, you see, I'm thinking of it from the standpoint, if I go to the past and get the lotto numbers,
You can.
then my future
Yeah.
is better off. You understand what I
Yeah.
mean?
But then certain things probably change.
It doesn't matter to me.
But if
So what if I didn't meet you because I won 200?
You ain't have your
million?
kids.
Listen, if that's what it takes for me to be happy on an island
I'm
somewhere,
billionaire, yeah. Have your
In
own
your
island.
condo in Miami.
Yeah.
overlooking
Yeah.
the ocean, I'll wipe my tears. I could have had kids in a way. I'd be okay.
With your
No,
money.
I'm joking. Let me not say that, man. You know, I want
Yeah, take that back.
you and the kids over.
Scratch it.
Thinker or doer?
Doer.
Both.
Probably a thinker.
You're a thinker.
You know something? That looked very disrespectful.
All right, what do you have more, street smarts or book smarts?
You need a little bit of both.
Yeah, you do.
I came from the street. I told her I was a thug before I met her. And I gave that life up.
Yo, he's the coolest guy in the world. We don't believe you're at all, man.
Right.
We don't believe Ray at all, man. He's a good guy, man. He's a good guy.